All right, YouTube has started.
To all units, proceed to your post assignment. All units, proceed to your post assignment.
George Trump, Mark van Dijk, Mark and George Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are here for the mythical, amazing number 7 that will go down in history. Show number 7 is going to go down as one of the best Mark and George's ever. How are you doing? I'm George Trombley.
My name is Mark van Dijk from Groningen, the Netherlands.
One of these days, I will know how to say your name proudly, and I will say it.
I cannot wait until that day.
Wouldn't that be nice? So both you and I have changed our studio quite significantly.
We have, yeah.
I
I moved to a UFO, as you might be able to see if you watch our YouTube stream.
Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube stream, but most people I think are probably on no agenda at this point, or just listening to the audio. Mm-hmm. But suffice it to say, both of us completely moved where our locations were. So it might be a little bit weird today. There might be some sound issues, but we're going to work through them. I think they're pretty worked out.
To interrupt you for a second, there are some sound issues.
Are there?
It seems to be a little bit related to bandwidth. Like sometimes you sound a little bit like this.
Okay.
And that's so we don't know what is happening. Earlier, I think yesterday night, it seemed that there were some issues in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I was doing a live stream and it just died completely. I lost internet for an entire hour, which was nice. You know, do you think it's funny when you lose internet? Do you go, well, I guess I don't have internet. I guess I'll just watch a video on the internet while I wait. Do you ever think about that? Does that ever happen to you?
The first thought is, well, I'm happy that I still have my mobile phone, in case. But I am on a very low bandwidth plan on my mobile, so I'm not using it actively for anything on the internet. But no, actually, I go and I think by myself, well, hey, self, maybe it's a good idea to just lay down on the couch for a bit.
No, I always go through 2 or 3 things where it's like, all right, well, there's no internet. Damn it, I'll just get on the iPad. No iPad. All right, well, let me just go back to the PC then.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how, how the internet in like maybe 15 years, 20 years has really integrated into our lives like that.
Yeah, it's so common you don't even realize that you're not getting it. When you don't get it, your brain doesn't comprehend that it's not there. And another really amazing thing that happens for me, not amazing, but just really sad, is I lose the ability to turn on and off lights in my house.
Oh, really?
Because for me, every light in this room, for example, is connected to an Amazon device. I won't say her name or she'll listen to me. But yeah, so I would have to crawl under my desk and hit the buttons off because I haven't put them in easy to touch.
Female version of Alex.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, but I the one thing I don't understand is this isn't a topic we're planning on covering today, but how come you can't do those things offline? It's a local network. Why do I have to send the command turn off something or turn on something to them?
Because they are the central nervous system of your setup, and I think that there does exist. Sorry, distracted here for a second. I think that there are systems that do work only on the local network, or have a central controller that you have on one of your computers. So,
looks like
I just want to say hello to Darren. Darren's been so much support for us, and he just popped up on the No Agenda chat room.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Darren.
Well, speaking of changing studios, we also had a pretty good heart-to-heart the other day. Your wife gave us...
True.
Go ahead.
Before, just to continue with the studio changes, you made sure that, or you started to work on being able to use your standing desk actually standing.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I am standing. This is actually the first time in a long time that I've stood. I have been bedridden for the last 2 years, as you might know. It's a very kind of a medical miracle that I'm standing right now, and I want to thank Darren personally, because he's He's been here doing the physical therapy with me, and it's been amazing.
Excellent.
For those of you who don't know, I'm
for
joking.
me,
I do stand all the time, but not for the live streams.
Well, it's nice that your camera is able to adapt to that.
Yeah,
And,
I put my
just
camera
moved
on a Rode PSA 1, but it really can't handle the light and the camera too well. It's kind of it's an iffy situation still. Let's just call it.
Yeah, work in progress. I have just rotated my desk, so the green wall that is now behind me used to be the wall that I was facing, which is also my bedroom wall. And as people might know, the time here, it gets a little bit late. It's 9:05 p.m. right now here in the Netherlands, Western Europe. And well, at some point, my girlfriend wants to go to bed. And if I'm facing the wall, and that is, adjacent to, is it adjacent? I always wonder. To my bedroom, and I keep talking, then it's kind of hard for her to fall asleep. So I decided to move my desk the other way, and now I have a green wall that I can project nice things on.
Yeah, we should test this later. I think part of your video delay might be all the processing going into the green screen. Not that people could see that on the live stream, but all right. Well, listen, I did want to bring up this this discussion that we had with your. Can we just call her your wife? I know you're not married, but it's just so much easier. Calling her
she does feel like my wife.
Right. I mean, you've been with her
together
for 10 years.
for more than 10 years. So
yeah, let's just call her your wife.
Yes.
Because saying girlfriend or baby mama
girlfriend makes it sound like I met her.
Yeah, I just 4 months ago. You did a Tinder thing.
Doesn't work.
Anyway,
son, back then Tinder didn't even exist.
I think that's literally probably true even for your 3-year-old son to say back then. Yeah. Anyway, eventually we're going to get to this list thing, but your wife came on and did some nice I was not looking forward to it when you said, by the way, that she had some. You didn't say criticism. What did you say she had? She had some
feedback.
Because I was like, oh, here it comes, feedback. But it was very, very balanced and well-deserved feedback.
Do you still remember her first point?
Well, the one about you?
Yeah. Because George was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna get it now. But no, she whooped my ass first.
Yeah, I actually thought it was really sweet when she said, and not to imitate her, but she said that, Mark kind of believes some conspiracy things. He doesn't really trust the world. And
he's kind of skeptical.
He's skeptical was the nice way to say it, right? And she said it's nice. She said it was good balance that I tend to see the world in a positive way. I actually think people don't, because I don't know anyone around me that actually is being conspiratorial. So certainly it exists, but I think the majority of the world is generally trying to be good, and that there are a few bad apples.
I agree. I think.
But do you? Or have I tricked you into believing it?
No. I believe that the bulk of people are fundamentally good or undecided. I mean, there are also people who just ignore the entire question, which means that
you've confused me. You've confused me. Undecidedly? How do you be undecidedly? I haven't decided to be good or bad yet. Which direction? I'm leaning.
No. It's just ignoring the entire. I mean, some people make the choice. Like, yeah, I really want to be a good person.
When did you choose that you were going to be a good person? When did you? At what age did you think? Okay, let's see.
Okay, that's that's actually a very personal. Well, it's not. It might not be a personal question, but you'll get a very personal answer.
All right. So wait, before you answer it, there was a time where you sat on a precipice and thought, "I could be evil." I'm not talking individual decisions.
No, it was more like when other people, somebody specific. I'm not going to say who. Very important.
I need to know this person's name. I absolutely need. We can't have this discussion unless you tell me exactly.
I'll say it was family.
Okay.
And
mother
was trying to convince me that I was not a good person or that I had an evil streak in me. And I think it was like around my 15th or 16th year that I realized, no, what you were saying about me is actually not true at all. I am a good person.
Interesting.
I feel that I am a good person. I want to be a good person. I don't have evil in my heart.
So would you say that you
was
made a
conscious
decision to be good, or you
Nah,
realized?
it was a realization. Yeah, it was a realization. I guess that's more what it is. You know, there are just people who haven't thought about it yet.
I wonder if there are people that actually realize, oh my God, I'm on the dark side. I'm an evil one. I wonder if that happened. I mean, it must happen.
Well, or do they say, no, what I'm doing is good because I'm helping myself? And other people judge such a thing as, you know, you're only servicing yourself. You're not servicing others. You only care about yourself. That's evil.
What do you think it's happened at 16 or 17 for you that made you snap into thinking I'm good? And because I think it's really hard for people to get out of the kind of the bond with their parent. The parent is literally everything for such a long time. What do you think happened to you that made you flip and just realize I'm not going to take this input basically from your parent or whoever? You said it was a parent. I can't remember. You said it was a family member. Yeah. But this particular family member, I'm assuming a parent because that would make the most logical sense, but we don't have to go that deep. Mm-hmm. What made you think, what flipped you?
Drugs.
Actually drugs?
Yeah.
Was it, what? I mean, you're in Amsterdam, so it's fairly liberal society on drugs.
Groningen, it's close to Amsterdam, but it's, drugs. Realize it. Smoking weed. When I was younger, that's when I got the deeper thoughts that also made me reflect on myself and made me reconsider the fights I was in with said parent. And it was, I mean, growing up was always, we moved around a lot, and every time I had to make new friends and stuff like that, and life was very hectic. And those are the kind of, I mean, I started putting things in perspective, I guess, around that age, which is also probably something you just do when you get older. So it's not just like, hey man, I was blind, but the drugs opened my eyes, but they did help me think on a deeper level, I guess.
Do you think that improved? Did that, when you realized, okay, your mother was, or your father, I'm just going to assume mother. Cause
it was my mother.
Fathers are pretty good guys.
She's not watching anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because she's a horrible mother. But no, I'm joking. I don't know about your mother. But would you say that when you made that realization that your mother was feeding you the kind of the wrong input, and then you changed, did having that realization improve the relationship with you and your mother, or did it actually put an additional strain on it?
Oh. Well, it also made me think about, is she evil or not? And I realized that, no, she's also not evil for putting me through that stuff. She is just unable to realistically tell if this current situation, which part of the current situation is to blame on herself and which part is to blame on others. She just blamed others for all of the bad things. And that's what I realized. But of course, you know.
Are you saying you have empathy for her?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. She was 24 when she got me. So that was very young. And when I was 24, I was like, oh my God, that's, very young still. But I also realized, I don't know.
Is your relationship good now with her?
No.
When was the last time you saw her?
Unfortunately, not. That was probably 2.5 years ago. Steven was just 6 months old, I guess.
So I guess she's not super interested in even seeing Steven, unfortunately.
Your son,
for those that don't know.
Yeah. I am not really... I'm keeping that question open because I cannot look inside of her head. I don't know how she feels right now, and I don't want to. I don't want to make the image I have in my head of her negative. I don't know what she's feeling.
That seems pretty healthy.
The only thing is, I know that she closed the door on me, so there is, and very harshly as well. And I have tried so much to, open closed doors in the past, and this time I was like, well, listen, I have my own family now. I cannot deal with this shit anymore because I need to protect my young boy and my own family for the stuff that is happening. Negativity mostly, and also the impact that fights have on my own
On your own psyche.
Yeah. And my own emotions. So if she closes the door, then she'll have to tell me that she wants to open it again.
You know, your own psyche.
In the 1% chance that she is listening, you'll now know what to do. I've never emotionally closed that door, but I just have, my own perspective is, well, the person who closes it should also be the one who should try to open it.
Yeah, I had problems with my father for a long time, and it actually started.
I can't believe that I'm just sharing this with the world, but I'm an open book.
Well, why not? I mean,
so.
Why not? There's only like 12 people ever going to see this, so it's not that big of a deal, right? Is it?
Until we become like very famous,
sunshining this kind of information is gonna it's gonna maybe do some what's that word? What is that word? Oh my God, cathartic. You know what I'm talking about, right?
This happens to you. No.
No, what is that word?
Sorry.
It's very cathartic. I don't know this word. Oh my God. Okay, while we're taking a small mental break, I really think you should turn your green screen processing off because you're only getting like one frame every now and then, and it's kind of really bad for the stream. Oh, and also just now your audio cut out for a second. Ooh, the connection's dropping.
To a different.
Well, why don't you actually turn your green screen processing off? I think that's because that.
Yeah, let's give this. I changed to a different Discord region. That might also help.
Okay.
If this doesn't work, then I'll turn it off.
All right. Anyway, I guess I'll finish what I was saying about my father, just so that people who are listening get it. But simply spoken, we had a falling out during the Obama McCain election, because my father hated Obama, and at that time I was totally just Democrat. I wasn't Republican in any way. And I thought that every Republican's ideas were shit and that Democrats knew what they were doing. Let me just say that was the old me. Now, so my father was talking about McCain, and I said something to him that I guess was pretty rude. I said, look, I know you have to vote McCain because you're ex-military. That's what I said, because you were in the military. And he told me to take my head out of my ass and that Obama was going to be a horrible president and he's born in Kenya and all these conspiracy theories. And I said, you know what? Fine, Dad. And we didn't talk, and there was no Christmas, there was no Thanksgiving. He didn't invite me, and I think it was a year later, I finally kind of tried to make up with him, but we were still having issues. And it took one of my Japanese good friends to tell me, hey, your dad's going to be gone soon, and you're going to miss being able to talk with him. And it's the simple thing that people say, but you don't really think about it until someone confronts you with it. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to decide to not get upset with my father, and I'm not going to talk about politics with my father, and I'm just going to agree with him, whatever he says, with enough believability. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just blindly say yeah, and that's actually helped a lot. And then it turns out eventually I did become more Republican, and now it's totally not a problem. But I think you have to sometimes make a conscious decision, like you did, to accept your parents for who they are.
Well, that's for sure, and also that you cannot expect people to view the world in the same way. I mean. That's also, and I have to say, over the last 8 years, particularly from American people, I've heard so often that there was, a conflict within family because of politics.
Yeah.
And that just is stunning.
Well, it's pretty divided over here.
Yeah, but still, I mean, in family relationships, it's what does it say about us that as a society that we are allowing politics, worldview, ideology, basically, to take the most important place in people's lives, give it a higher priority than the relationships we have between each other.
Wait, you don't think that worldview is uber important, and it wouldn't? Are you? it sounds to me like you're saying that worldview is a minor issue that shouldn't be. I mean, that's as big as that's religion. That's everything. That's the essence of a person. How do you feel that doesn't play a big issue?
I'm not making a statement. I think I'm more questioning because I think, like back in the day, especially before the internet, we didn't have
Cathartic.
This didn't happen a lot. If your parents were in a religion, you were in the same religion. So religion was never that divisive. People didn't break out. Same probably with politics. If you were like a right-leaning family or a military family or anything like that, then you'd stick in that box, that framework. And I still think that in countries, maybe more traditional countries, or maybe more family-oriented countries, the chances of family members breaking connections with each other because of their politics or because of their maybe even religious views happens less frequently than it happens in the West. Is the best kind of situation that both my country and your country are in. So I wonder, and I'm asking.
Do you think sometimes? But do you think sometimes that split has nothing to do with worldview? Like you could have the same worldview, but you could just be a teenager going through, your rebellious years, and you don't want to do what your father or mother have thought, your career path should be. Do you think that?
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, it used to be that if you're, it's the classical example of if your father was a baker, you become a baker, and that changed. Now people are able to choose their own path, their own destiny, which is a very Western way of thinking, but also it's based on ideology. I have to say, over the last couple of weeks, I started to realize that we, in the West, especially in white majority countries, we have a very ideological way of living as opposed to the more tribalist state of mind that says, well, if I belong in a certain group, especially racial group, because you just see that stuff. I mean, those are two different things. We are more ideological.
Can I say something though? I want to interrupt you here. I apologize. I don't know how many countries you've been to. I don't know what type of different societies you've been to. But I used to think similarly that the West is something special. But it is special. It's special in terms of ideas and America has freedom of speech and the West tends to strive for this freedom, right? Mm-hmm. But then you've got places like China that are constantly clamping down on people. Yeah. But when I started making Chinese friends, something surprising happened to the way I think about the entire world. And it's that this exceptionalism that we have here in the West, this belief that we're something special, is actually not true. Humans are special.
No, but I'm not saying. Hang on. That's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying. I want to make a point, though, that it doesn't matter what system you live in, whether you're a quote-unquote conservative country or a liberal country or whatever. I've noticed, and it was surprising to me because I had an image of Chinese people going in. They are just like Americans, just like, I don't know what Dutch people are like, but they're just like people that I'm aware of. But they're just living in a shitty society, a system that doesn't let them do it, but they're still trying to do it. So I think that to say that there can be such a thing as a society where most families get along because their worldview is the same, I don't think that's true. I think that the new generation always brings...
but that's what I'm saying. I think that the West has been starting to do that since maybe the 50s or the 60s. We have turned from a more a group inside of your own politics into something more ideological, and this has been on in the academic world, it's been the same way. The ideology is more important than the tribal way of thinking. But if you take China, for example, here in the country, and I think it's the same in the US, I think it's the same everywhere. For example, the crime statistics for Chinese people are really low, and that's not because there's no crime, but it means that the crime happens in their own group, and they solve their own problems, and they won't, so that, for example, the Dutch justice system will not have to deal with them as frequently because it happens in their own group, which makes it a tribal group, which means they are in their own tribe. And
it doesn't mean that the crime is any less. It just means they're not reporting
No, exactly.
it. They're not reporting it to the normal authorities.
Exactly.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Tribe. Well, that doesn't matter. That's not relevant. I think it's more like acknowledging that this is how many parts of the societies outside of our specific Western way of thinking, tribal societies, that means that things happen inside of their own tribe, and it is therefore to, for example, our tribe. However, we are not tribal, we are ideological, which means, for example, to give a very negative example, but it means my ideology could be, well, hey, there's nothing wrong in the world. Everybody, is human. Everybody is good. So let's prove that to the world. And, this example, for example, Paul Joseph Watson has been talking about this in a number of clips, ideological examples of mostly like leftist, maybe indoctrinated people who want to prove that the internet is a hostile place, but that the real world isn't hostile. So they start traveling through
like those women that got killed from Sweden.
Yeah, they start because they want to prove a point, and the point is that we are wrong for thinking that the people who live there are hostile towards us. So they go there, they want to, they snap selfies, and then at a certain point, raped and killed.
I think
and
the point. Yeah, I think the point, and by the way, I actually watched the actual video where they got beheaded. It's out there.
Oh, you did? No. Oh, really?
It is disgusting.
It must be.
I'm subscribed to Watch People Die subreddit on reddit.com, and it came up there, and it made no sense. I
am staying away from that stuff.
You do not want to watch it.
My soul cannot handle that stuff. I cannot even handle the stories, to be honest.
I want to say that I think that you're missing the point, though, when you're saying your basic point. I'm not saying that there aren't bad people or that there aren't people that are indoctrinated or brainwashed into something. What I'm saying is there is no difference in humans in any of these countries beyond if they are brainwashed. Your general human being.
I disagree.
Hang on. Even people in North Korea die. They get executed because they're doing things that they're not supposed to in their group.
Inside of their own tribal group.
If you're calling a country a tribal group, you're really missing the point. America is a tribe of Americans, but the Koreans are not tribal.
Yeah, you can say that, but that's really, if you look at the things, then as soon as Obama
maybe I need to hear you define tribal. What does that even mean?
If you look at, for example, when Obama, was running for president, all of the black community voted for Obama.
Not true.
Which is a tribal movement.
Not all of the community voted for him.
Well, okay, but the majority. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the majority of white people also voted for him.
We see the same here in this country. We have a new political party called DENK, which is basically a Turkish or Muslim group, and you see that they attract the majority of Muslim voters. This is a different way of this is just a different mental point. It's like a totally different paradigm. We vote for political parties based on their ideology because we are ideological in the West. This is how we have.
I think that's because we are living in a country. We live in countries that have a lot of race mixing.
Ideas.
It's also we don't have. If we were, let's say that your country. This was true. Let's say that your country or my country were filled with yellow people, actually green people or yellow people, right? Well, the difference is if we were all one race, all one color, that's purple or whatever color we want to make it, and then all of a sudden a different color person comes in, or a different, completely different shape of person comes in, it's gonna be weird for us. And that's what happens in Japan and Korea and China, because even though this is actually really, really what's the word I'm looking for? I'm stupid to say this because China actually has a lot of ethnicities, right? But
yeah, it's a big.
But I think we
area
in the West are so used to teaching diversification that it's not an issue. It's not an issue. So that's why we only can fight on ideology. We group it.
That's what I'm saying, because of ideology.
But we just group in a different way, is what I'm saying. I don't believe that it's different. I just think that they group on physical appearance. We group on what that Democrat,
ideas. Yes,
Democrat,
exactly.
Republican.
That's exactly. So that is the tribal point of view.
I think that makes us all tribal.
But I would like to hear the ideas of our listeners as well. What do you think? Do you agree with the premise of my
what is
case,
your premise?
Or my premise is that we are in the West. We are the only majority group. Basically white people who are.
You're going to get in trouble for that statement.
Inclined to.
You just tribalized yourself by saying basically white. By the way, you just tribalized yourself.
No, not really, because I'm saying that, for example, there are many white people who say white privilege, or I've seen on Twitter many people say, many white people say about that group, the group that happened, the school kids with the MAGA hats against the indigenous. Help me out with this. That group,
I know what you're talking about,
but Donald Trump supporters,
right?
But many white people on the internet who said, "Well, those kids need to be thrown into the." That's one of the people who said need to be thrown into the wood chipper head first.
There's always going to be bad opinions. The problem is that the media takes a crazy person saying children should be put into the wood chipper and makes it look. No.
This was a person from the media who said it.
It doesn't matter who says it. One person says it, and then it becomes the narrative for the entire thing that happened. That was
anyway. My reason for inviting the audience is more to segue to a different topic. Like I invite other people to.
I don't even know how we got onto this topic. Believe it or not, it's not on any of our lists for sure.
We came onto this topic because basically it's the question of, are people good or bad? And I said, well, in my opinion, there's a very big gray area.
I was going down a list of things we talked about with your wife, and basically, I think I skew that people are good, and you skew maybe that people have agendas more than I think they do. I think that's where
not what I said. No, that's not what I said. I said the majority is good or hasn't figured it out for themselves yet.
Let me rephrase.
Let me rephrase. Believe that
okay, go ahead.
There's a very small group of people who are like inherently evil,
which I don't believe
who enjoy. No, there's a small group of people who enjoy to inflict pain on others. For example, those people exist. We know that. They exist.
There's always those type of people. I think. My point was that if a news story comes up, if a news story comes up, you tend to say conspiratorial things where this is why they're doing it. You look for a hidden reason, and I go, sometimes it's just what it looks like.
I don't take things on face value, but I'm not Alex Jones.
You should be. You're doing a damn good job.
No. Maybe Alex Jones 15 years ago, but not the current Alex Jones. But we'll get to Alex Jones.
All right. Well, I will change the topic by bringing
a segment on him.
I'll change the topic by coming back to the topic. Was your wife was giving really good feedback, and that was literally just the first point. Crazy. I didn't even get to any of the feedback. But part of what we're trying to do in the show now is to fix what we're only in show 7. We're going to get through 50 shows before we can even think we have a good one. But one is we're going to try to ask why to each other a little bit more. This was kind of some advice from your wife. Be curious about what the other person is saying. I think we're doing better today on that for sure. Maybe we've both failed on keeping our opinions until the end of the other person's statement. I feel like we
can work on that.
We'll work on that. One I think that's good just for a radio show in general that we both think is good. Ask permission to change the topic because sometimes someone's trying to make a point and they're leading up to something. So it's like, hey, do you mind if we switched gears, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And stop me if anything I say is wrong.
No, I just didn't know that we would talk about this during the show, but it's fine.
I know you did say not to talk about this, but there was specific things you didn't want to talk about, and I'm not going to touch on those.
Okay.
And actually, I did ask your permission prior to this, and you were like not paying attention, I guess. And you're like, yeah, absolutely, man, whatever you want to do, dude. All right. Anyway, that's that first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have one question for you, Mark.
Hit me.
Do you have to piss? That's one of our checklist items. That's one of our checklist items.
Well, it's smart to take a leak before you start the show if it's a 90-minute show, and I'm always tanking my alcohol-free beer here, so it's smart to to do that stuff. It's what people do. It's normal biology. But yeah, let's focus on it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about pissing. Anyway, that's the biological checklist that we part of it at least, and that's all I wanted to say on that. So if you want to move on to your big topic, and then we can keep this show moving.
All right. Well, just a segue song. I wanted to do originally. I planned this show to do a segment on Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. Have you followed that process?
I have, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right. Well, you want to give a short summary because you're great at that stuff.
Well, Alex Jones went on the Joe Rogan show. I don't know exactly when. It was a while back, and basically they smoked a peace pipe, and everything was awesome.
Yes.
And on a very recent Joe Rogan was talking about how Alex Jones was kind of throwing Joe Rogan under the bus and saying,
okay, so
he's crazy. He's saying all these things about me, but
yeah. So
maybe you have a clip.
No, I don't have a clip here, but
wait a minute. I wonder if people don't know who Alex Jones and Joe Rogan are. Do you want to give a brief synopsis of who those guys are? No. Joe Rogan is a huge podcaster, hugely influential. He's got millions of subscribers on YouTube, and Alex Jones is from InfoWars, and he also had millions of followers, but he's very famously known for really crazy conspiracy theories, saying that Sandy Hook was staged and that they were actors. Sandy Hook is the massacre where I don't remember how many children were killed, but it was a horrible massacre, and he's saying the children and the parents, they're all fake, they're not real, it's just a government conspiracy. And he got deplatformed from YouTube and Twitter and PayPal, and he basically got shut down.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me do the segment that I plan to do.
All right, so that's who they are.
Alex Jones, conspiracy theorist, most famous conspiracy theorist of them all, probably. I first learned who Alex Jones was in, I think it was 2005, maybe earlier. Because the first thing that he really criticized was the official 9/11, Twin Tower attacks.
9/11.
Yes, and that's when I started to know who he was, and followed him sporadically, not a lot. I did look at he used to make movies. He used to do his television show, and yeah, he's always been one of the players in this field. So at first, I wanted to make some clips, but then I decided not to regarding the Joe Rogan Alex Jones drama, basically because it just goes too deep into the he said and she said territory.
I think you meant to say Susie sells seashells by the seashore.
Oh, I'll practice that one for next show maybe. Yes. Thing is, I didn't feel like making clips about that because it's very distracting. However, your summary is a little bit rough. A very rough outline.
Unprepared.
Of course.
Yeah.
Basically, what happened was that Alex Jones got kicked from every platform between the first time he was on and the only time he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and after that, Alex wanted to come back, and then he was kicked off from Facebook and from all of these other platforms, except for Twitter, which happened at a lot later than the other platforms. So Joe Rogan then decided to interview Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. Although, according to Joe Rogan, Alex had been asking Joe to be allowed to do another interview like over and over and over again. Joe decided that he didn't want to interview Alex, but he has interviewed Jack Dorsey. So I have seen that interview, and it's actually a very interesting interview. I also think Jack Dorsey had really a lot of very interesting things to say about that. And one of the things that I found really interesting was the fact that Jack said that they want to move away from manual moderation and move that to automated.
Sounds like a great idea.
Moderation. Well, I'm thinking about that, and this is also the question that I wanted to pose.
That was sarcastically, by the way.
Well, it's still the question that I wanted to pose because, on one hand, I think, the human factor is also there is a single point of failure there. But on the other hand, removing people from the equation also means inhumane choices by definition will be made instead of humans deciding on conduct between humans on a public platform. So,
you say public platform, but it is a private company that offers that platform. I think that's the big debate.
It's a private company offering a public service, in my opinion, and they are not editors, so they cannot be held responsible for the content unless it breaks laws. But they cannot be held responsible for what people say unless they call themselves editors.
Right, but as a private corporation, they have to worry about the financial viability of their organization. And if someone on their channel is causing a lot of controversy that is driving people away, then I think that gives them a lot of motivation to take someone off of a platform.
Okay, but the financial situation was not thrown into the equation by Jack Dorsey. And
of course not.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, of course not.
No, you say of course not, but I mean, if it's a factor, then
could you imagine any CEO though saying that, like, we took so-and-so off because we lost 13% revenue, or it was.
Yes, they're not. In fact, I cannot see any CEO who does not say that, because
to the public,
everybody knows
that would be a public nightmare relation. All you care about is money, is what would happen. As a corporation, you have to at least show. That's what greenwashing and whitewashing and all this stuff comes from, corporations trying to keep their public image. Like, we care about you. What is Twitter? Twitter's rule. Twitter's goal in the world is to spread communication, freedom of blah blah blah. But really, it's to make money. That's what any corporation is supposed to do. But you can't say that.
Well, yes, but we also know that many of the corporations have been founded on ideological grounds, and Twitter is one of those platforms. So, I mean, I agree. It's a company, and companies have, the singular goal of a company is to make profit for the shareholders.
It's literally in any public corporation. This is why they're so
every CEO will admit this.
Well,
however,
you know that they by
yes,
law
listen,
they have to be making money for the shareholders. Get to your point. I'll shut up. Get to your point.
Because the thing is,
faster.
Jack himself keeps saying that this is about more. This is about wanting to make a platform on which people can share ideas. He is, and you can say, yeah, that's because of PR relations or whatever, but it's about more than that.
Okay.
According to the founder of Twitter, it is designed to be a platform where people can share ideas, and the platform also is very, big on AI. I think it's one of the reasons that they want to do that is it's a cop out, because this way you can never prove which decisions have been made by humans or by a technical algorithm. On the other hand, I also think that if we look at the way Twitter is currently being moderated, there's still it's fair to say that there is a political bias. And it's not really, I don't fall into the category of people who say, well, this is a left versus right kind of balance. I think it's more journalistic. Journalists get like a get out of jail for free card when they say stuff about throwing young children into the wood chipper head first if they wear MAGA hats, for example.
That's ridiculous.
However, if it is, and meanwhile, kill all the white people, stuff like that being said is all fine, especially when it's by the blue checkmark thing. But when somebody from the right says something like learn to code to journalists that have been laid off as a form of cynicism, to point out the hypocrisy, to point out that the same journalists have made these arguments to other people, those are being kicked off immediately. So on one hand, I wonder, is Twitter being legitimate? They want to move the moderation away from AI. They want to
I have some questions.
Very specific terminology for this, to focus on amplification. Which do we amplify? Which responses do we amplify, and which responses do we down tune?
Can I jump in here?
Almost.
Okay.
So the most important thing for me on this whole debate. And Twitter is one of the platforms where this happens, but it happens on all platforms. And Twitter is not even the most aggressive of all these platforms. Is the total, basically unpersoning, the banning of people, which essentially removes them from the social platforms for the way in which they think. And the problem here is that unpersoning people cause some people to act really weird. And Alex Jones is a fine example.
Do you mean deplatforming, not unpersoning? Is that what you mean?
No, well, to unperson someone is to remove someone from all of the public spheres, which is a term that comes from George Orwell's 1984, which has happened with Alex Jones. He has been unpersoned. His credit card
a person whose name or existence is denied or ignored, especially because of a political misdemeanor.
Yes, there you go. So because of an ideology, people get, unpersoned. Their public persona.
So this is what's interesting. The Twitter values on their our values page, it says, we believe in free expression and think every voice has the power to impact the world. And I think it's really fascinating that why are they choosing to shut down one voice over another, and what is the criteria that they're doing that with? If their value is every voice has the power to impact the world, then why would they remove Alex Jones? And I'm not exactly an Alex Jones supporter. I just think when you have freedom of speech and your platform says every voice, then if you take one voice down, you're essentially saying that that's a lie, that you don't really believe that. You
are threatening everyone.
You are. And how can anyone reliably, look at us. Why are we on BitChute, for example, with our videos? Because we never know when we're going to get deplatformed ourselves. Maybe in free speech, where me and you are going back and forth, I say something really offensive. You say something offensive in the heat of the moment.
Exactly.
And then we get deplatformed.
Why are we on multiple platforms? Because of this.
Right.
Because we need backup systems, because we want to be able to spread our talks together. And, the focus of you and me talking is usually not to make hard claims or statements, but it is to make people ask questions. Because
right. And what do you do when you're deplatformed from everywhere? If there's this
Alex
collusion,
Jones,
There's this
If you
collusion
look at
between
Alex
these companies.
Jones, yes, if you look at Alex Jones, then what do you do is you become a little bit more crazy than you already were. I mean, Alex Jones has had many conspiracies that turned out to be true. He's also made many claims that turned out to be, stretching the truth a little bit. And that is Alex Jones's problem, is he claims that things have been said that haven't been said. He claims that he didn't say things that he have said, like the Sandy Hook.
Yeah, like every politician needs to be deplatformed if that's the case. And I think it's very fishy that all platforms at once can remove somebody, or what was the word you said? Unperson them.
Unperson.
That's
and
ridiculous.
It happens. Yes, and I don't know if we can ever trust an automated system to do this in a fair way.
Who programs
here's an
the
example.
automated system?
Exactly, but also, will Jack ever be banned if he does something against the rules?
Why
or
hasn't
if
Trump
people
been
start
banned?
blocking him?
Trump has certainly broken many rules of Twitter. Is he immune because he's the president?
Probably. It's an unfair system.
Is he above the law?
I think that. Well, that's a different topic altogether, isn't it? There's a whole different can of worms. I mean, we all agree nobody should be above the law, but in reality, the law is only the enforcers of the law, right?
The law is only the enforcers of the law. Put that in your calendar, man. It's amazing. I don't know why you put it on your calendar. Put it on a T-shirt, I guess.
For next week or something.
I think you were moving towards the clip, and I keep derailing you.
No. There's no. Like I said, I didn't. I wanted it to make this more into talk than play clips, because clips would not make this point any better, I think, than I'm currently making it. And by playing a clip, it would become too distracting in the sense of making it into a he said, she said argument between Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. I mean, Alex Jones made a rebuttal clip, which was Alex Jones, man. He's becoming really, really, really unhinged. He's no longer normal. But I have to say that it's almost it's a logical consequence to not being allowed to be a member of society in the same way others are. So, for example, Alex Jones became really, really annoyed with Howard Stern. Howard Stern also has made Alex Jones parodies in an amicable way, I believe. But Alex Jones is becoming pissed off and is starting to lash out at people, at Joe Rogan, at Howard Stern, because this is the only way in which he can still try to be a part of the public discourse. And many people are talking about him, but he's not allowed to respond anymore. And I actually feel bad for the guy. I mean, I don't know about most of his newer theories, conspiracies and stuff. I think for him, it's probably not even a good thing that Trump was elected, because that's when the shit started, really getting, or his screws really started to get loose. And but meanwhile, he is not allowed the same kind of position in this field.
Yeah, I definitely think you're gonna go a little bit crazy if I would just imagine if all of your avenues to talk to the world, as a person who likes to talk to the world, all of a sudden are shut off. You're gonna go a little bit crazy.
Exactly. It's the same as I mean, this also happens in small groups. If you are in a class at school, and nobody wants to talk with you, or if the teacher removes you, from the classroom,
you've got to shout louder. You've got to shout louder to get your message heard. If you have no way
that
to.
is what that is what a selection of the people will do. So they will start shouting louder, and they will say more extreme things in order to be heard. So I think that we, as a society, we really need to think about, is this the way we want to go? Do we really want to remove people with critical views? Because let's be honest, as long as we can talk with people with opposing views, then we can consider those people our peers. not just our opponents.
Well, maybe
but-
the problem is we're all a little bit too tribal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Throwing back your word, and we get into
but in a context that my brain is not allowed to fit into.
Well,
this.
I think we get into our own thought bubbles, and as you know,
yeah, but that's not a tribe. A tribe is a race-based society. That's a totally different thing here.
Is that what you meant by tribal? That it was race-based?
Yeah, more or less. But
I didn't realize that's what you were saying.
That's basically what a tribe is not or more than race-based. It's like family or groups of families, but it's within a tribe. You know what a tribe is?
I do, but I thought that you were speaking on a more country level, that they handle it. You were saying they handle it amongst themselves, and I didn't know how that had to do anything with race.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, that this is what the West basically does not do. We do things based on ideology.
I think
we are talking about ideology right now.
Speaking of ideology, I think you have a little bit of an idealistic view of what the West is. Just pointing that out.
Maybe I just don't think that we are tribal in the West, but I think that many parts of the world are tribal. That was not the discussion we were having right now, so it's kind of distracting for me.
Well, I apologize for bringing it back to the exact point you were talking about earlier, and it's a unfortunately I disagree with you, and I actually hate this topic of Alex Jones more than anything because it's so boring. But I'm sure some people's getting something out of it. I thought we were going to talk more on the idea of getting, knocked out of Unpersoned. I thought was the main topic, but I think we focused a little bit too much on Alex as a person. But
no, he is my example of a person being unpersoned.
Right.
But he's not the only one. If we look at Patreon, for example, then people with a certain form of speech have been targeted by the Patreon platform. Patreon is the system that pays out creators for their content. It's not supposed to do anything, judge people outside of their platform.
Who's been knocked out of Patreon that bothers you the most?
I think that the what's his name, Sargon of Akkad was the big name.
Yeah, and I went after he got knocked out, and I read that story. I went and listened to a lot of what he was saying. I didn't think it was weird in any way, and it's not because I agreed with him ideologically. He was well spoken. I might have missed something.
Yeah, no, but he was banned. They say he was banned for a specific thing he did outside of the platform, which was to throw words of his opponents back at them, which included words that that society does not agree with are being used.
So much for freedom of speech.
Yeah, and so much for terms of service.
Yeah,
because the terms of service of Patreon were, you have to behave on our platform, not you have to behave outside of our platform, and we will judge you even if you talk with your neighbors, which is basically what Patreon did.
I kind of hope that we're moving to a point in history where there's a Supreme Court battle or something that really kind of defines in the new digital age what it means to be on a platform and what it means to have freedom of speech, because I really think even with this whole copyright thing, there needs to be a lot of addressing of what's fair use and what's allowed to be blocked. And we really are turning, the digital age is really shuffling the way that we think. And I wish we
Interesting. We need to think about whether we want the government to talk about that, or whether this is something that we want to hash out outside of the government, because that, letting the government decide on those things,
the government's
pretty
really
far right.
Because we're a country, and laws have meaning. There's a reason why Google and Twitter, with the safe harbor laws, it prevents them from getting sued for what happens on their platform, as long as they're not sitting in judgment of it, right? That's kind of the idea behind that, the safe harbor rules. And that I would say in a more positive look, without what we've already done, we wouldn't have as much as we have happening now in terms of freedom of speech. But it's rough around the edges, and it needs to be trimmed up. We cannot block someone for saying something we don't like just because it's. Once a company becomes a publicly traded company, I think they're no longer a private company. How about that? And I think that they can't work like a private company if they've gone public. A company like Apple, a company like Twitter can't just ban someone from their
No,
platform.
I agree. They are public companies. They are privately owned.
Unless those people are breaking
But
the
they
law.
are-
If they're trying to incite violence, yeah, you ban them because they're breaking the law. But if they're just saying an opinion that you don't like Sandy Hook was a conspiracy, well, that guy's obviously crazy, right? But that's not enough to get someone blocked off because you hurt some people, because you're a publicly traded company. You're basically a utility in that sense.
Yeah. Exactly.
Are we in agreement?
I agree.
All right.
Well, I think that is true, but I'm still not sure whether this is something that we need to hash out without involvement of the government, or if there needs to be legislation. Because as soon as you get legislation, something becomes illegal as well.
That's true.
And as long as
I think if you have a law that says what you're doing is impeding on the freedoms of people, then that's not as big of a problem as trying to say, this is hate speech or this is not allowed.
The term hate speech is by definition, how I think hate speech is defined in Great Britain.
Is what?
How hate speech is defined in the United Kingdom, Great Britain. They define it as if you are offended, then it's hate speech.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Everything is hate speech at this point. I'm offended by this entire topic.
Well,
would you stop hate speeching me?
Let's move on.
I don't even know what topics we had left. Oh, okay. Let's change it to a even heavier topic, but not so political.
Heavier topic.
Not so political.
Okay.
It's more. I asked you to watch a video, and I said it was really important that you watched it, but I guess you didn't get around. You didn't get time, unfortunately, before the stream. And the reason why it was important, it's a video to be down in the description of this video. It's a video of a single cell, starting with a single cell. It's a 6-minute long video showing 20 days of this cell dividing and becoming an organism. And I watched it, completely enthralled, watched it. And you know me, I kind of hate religion, really hate religion. I also firm believer in evolution. But when I watched this video, my worldview shifted quite a lot. And I had a moment of, how is there not a God? When I watched it, it's so amazing. I think, we talk on these idea levels of, well, it makes sense over billions of years, blah, blah, blah. Microevolution, macroevolution, this is also a problem. But when you watch this, it's different than envisioning it in your head without seeing it. When you watch this video, which is how a single cell becomes a complete organism in 6 pulsing minutes, timeline.
I'm starting to be happy that I didn't watch it, because just hearing you talk about it makes.
Let me just spell it out for those of you who haven't seen it. This cell splits again and again and again, and then once there's enough cells, it does this thing where it folds in on itself, and you can see that a clump of cells goes inside, and that is going to become some organ, and that happens over and over again. And I never thought about the process that it's building individual, completely different functioning organs and connecting them together, and then at a point in the video, blood is flowing all of a sudden in the organism, and I'm looking at it going, how the hell is that evolution?
Does nature? Yes.
I'm like, this is programmed. There's no way it's not programmed. And I didn't know what to say. And, I didn't know what to think. I just thought, wow, it seems too, when people always say, you can't jumble up parts of a typewriter and it become a typewriter, or a million monkeys typing for 1 billion years wouldn't create Shakespeare. And that all logically makes sense. But when you look at this video, you go, really? These cells randomly over 4 billion years became this perfect. And not only once, every animal on the planet has these different functioning parts. I don't know. So I don't know what to think, honestly. I'm just
I have thoughts which are especially nice for people who smoke them if they got them. Isn't it incredible that there are animals that have hair and we also have hair? That's always been fascinating to me. Like
Well-
we have nails, and my cat has nails. The eyes might be working a little bit different, but so I mean, basically the common ancestor thing, but just
Well, I mean, the
stated
fact that
in
we
a
share so
strange
much,
way.
we share so much DNA, and I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I know you didn't watch it, but before you've watched this video, what are your thoughts? How have you always felt behind the scenes? I guess on evolution.
Well, here's my first thought. The universe has already had a long time to make all of this, because the universe is infinite and endless. And
Hang on, are you
timeless.
saying? And I think this is where you're going, and you're putting a thought in my mind. Are you saying that the DNA that's on this planet maybe didn't start as that one cell on this planet? It started, maybe we had even many more billions of years ahead of that to make the instruction set. And once it hit this planet, it just continued
I am not saying
on.
I'm not saying that is not possible. So yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't have those answers. Nobody does. But I mean, it seems strange that everything started here in some kind of primordial soup.
Yeah.
To me, it even sounds strange that we naturally evolved from monkeys. Although sometimes I'm driving on the highway and I'm looking to my left. And I'm looking to my left and I see somebody picking their nose and eating it, and then I think, oh yeah, we do stem from monkeys.
Yeah, my wife threw her shit at me the other night, and I was like, "You are definitely from a monkey." I don't know what's happening with you.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you can't really do it from the monkey side because the monkey had to come from something else, right? So if you're following this, I mean, this gets into the question of
maybe we stem
evolution.
from very intelligent beings and the monkey stems from us. Why not?
Well, as far as I know, there is no reversing of no one's showing that.
Maybe Neanderthals. No, I don't. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm saying we don't know. It
Okay,
could be
Alex
anything.
Jones. I mean, Mark. Let me ask you this. So, when I talk to people about evolution as a whole, first of all, I looked up a stat and it said 97%.
Evolution as a whole.
Yes, 97% of scientists believe in evolution, according to this Wikipedia that I looked at.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, wait a
X%
minute.
of X.
Well, this is what I thought. Because when I called up my friend that's religious, I said, what? I told him, I had a God moment where I'm thinking maybe there's, because I've always thought there's maybe something, but not a God that did that level, right? I thought it was all evolution, right? But that made me think. And he said, well, there's microevolution. Really? Wow.
You had a hallelujah moment.
Is that what that was? You should have done that in the very beginning, I guess. That's a baseball thing for sure. That's like, take me out to the ball game. That's definitely not. Okay.
Hallelujah.
I will eventually make a point. It doesn't have to happen, though. We can just move on to the next topic. Pepsi or Coke? The big question, No, that's not a topic. Stop. Don't do it.
Coke.
Shut up. Keep it down.
I said
Microevolution versus macroevolution. Because I talked to my friend, and it was made apparent to me that microevolution is something that people that believe in God are all behind. Many of them are behind. And I thought, well, if you've got microevolution, certainly over billions of years, that could lead to macroevolution. But I'm curious to what you think.
I don't know those terms.
Okay, so microevolution is something we can witness within our lifetime. For example, a moth that used to be quite present in New England was a white moth because most of the trees had white bark. Industrialization, cutting down those trees, meant that there were a lot less white trees. There was more brown trees. And therefore, moths that had the brown coloring became more prevalent, and the white ones disappeared. So that you could say that that's a micro evolution. Macro is when we change species. So I'm curious. What do you think? Do you think that we came from a monkey? Do you think we came from prior lower levels of life?
I've no idea. I really don't. I don't know. It could be, but I do know humans like to experiment with DNA. Well, why is there not some other life form that likes to experiment DNA? And they did it on monkeys, and that's how the Neanderthal was built, and they improved on that, and they built the Cro-Magnon, and they improved on that, and it became the Homo erectus, and they improved on that, and it became the Homo sapiens, and then
you mean are you saying you think that every iteration, not that evolution ever happened naturally, that there was always someone's hand in it, and it was just different programming sent down by the alien?
But who knows? I mean, they also have to come from somewhere, so
interesting. That's where it ends with me on the God thing. It's like, even if I fully, first of all, I'll never believe organized religion. I'll never believe any story that we've come up with for God. I'm just saying there's probably a creator, because this looks crazy when you watch this video. But then I always go, well, who created the creator? And it's like that. It never ends in my mind, or in anyone's mind. I think when you think about this, it makes you go crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting though. But I guess this is something that our brains will never be able to think of, you know.
Do you think we're incapable? Do you think humans are incapable of figuring out how things actually went down? Do you think we're too low?
Individuals, yes. Individuals will be incapable of that.
Do you think we'll ever know as a group then? Do you think we'll ever as a group figure out the definite answer of where we came from?
No, I don't think that there's a definite answer, because if you make a definite answer, then it becomes a Bible, becomes a dead word in the book. I think that the definite answer is something paradoxical that keeps on growing, like we also keep on growing, like cells that keep dividing, that like ideas that keep forming. The only constant in the universe is change, right? So it seems silly that there is one static idea that fits in all scenarios. I mean,
you said earlier
something's probably a possibility in a local segment of the universe, but then we don't know. I mean, we don't even know where thought resides. If it resides in the brain, we do know that you know, the ideas being formed is a process that seems to happen in the brain.
You know what blew my mind in this video? Now that you're talking, what you just said reminded me of that. Is as this organism is, and I really want everyone to go watch this video and comment about what you thought about it, because it's amazing. But as this organism is forming, it's just a very automated process as it's going, and then there's a point in the process where the animal, I don't even know what it was, like it's like a salamander or something like that. When the animal's a little bit more formed, all of a sudden it starts twitching, and you see, this is conscious thought. But before that organism was doing that, it just looks like an automated process, and that I still don't know how to process.
Looks like that. Well, it's bio, so there's no automation anywhere. It's life. That's life. That's life's mystery. That's what so, you know, when we talk about AI and stuff like that, what I don't believe is that we will ever be able to create sentient life in just electronics.
So you don't think that we're going to ever have an AI that would be able to, for example, pass the Turing test and confuse the human?
Well, I don't. I think that the lines between life and AI will blur. I think that this is already happening, where we are able to create implants, where we are unable to graph what someone is dreaming about. Japanese scientists working on this, being able to create images of what people are dreaming of, creating chips that enhance your
a dream recorder.
Ability
is that what you're saying?
Like a dream recorder.
I would pay for that.
The ability to become, like, the one thing I would always say yes to, I figure, is a math chip, something that lets me do insane calculations in my brain.
Are you bad at math?
Well, no, but I mean stuff like how much is 13,482.5 divided by 8,962.
Is this a question that comes up a lot in your life? Are this the type of math problems that
No, but I think math is a fundamental way to describe the universe. So if you are able to fundamentally do the biggest math things, then we could get very far in our ability to manipulate our local universe as it is. Maybe even invent or I mean, there are of course already scientists working on transportation between, you know, teleportation. I mean,
can we save that for another show? Can we save that for another show? Because I actually want to do a whole segment on teleportation.
I mean, you ask me who I think about AI. Well, I think
but somehow that
lines
led to
between
humans doing invention, not AI. So I don't know.
that led to my point being the lines between artificial intelligence and sentient life will blur. But I don't think that we will be able to create life in electronics. We will not be able to create life that way. We will.
Well,
still
what
need
is the
to be able to
definition of life to
reproduce.
you? Well, I mean, what is the definition
Sentient
of life? Life, because I think we can create life with AI and robotics and electronics. Because what's different? You know, what is life?
Autonomous chemical processes?
Why not?
Maybe?
Why not? We understand chemicals fairly well, but why would it have to? So let me clarify. Do you define life as must be biological?
Yes.
So if that's the case, then yes, we'll never probably be able to build. However, though, we are starting to be able to clone meat. So what if the source material?
Oh, that's awesome, right? I'm so for that.
Well,
I am a big supporter of that stuff. Wouldn't it be amazing if we can still eat our steaks, but the steaks are being grown instead of you having
it would
to
certainly
make
solve-
an animal suffer?
It would certainly solve a lot of issues.
Totally okay. I'm not gonna eat stuff like insect burgers or whatever stuff they try to.
Let me
force
ask you
down our
a
throats,
deep
but-
philosophical question, though. What if, let's say, a person through some sort of medical mishap has their leg amputated, and they decide, you know what, I'm gonna let my meat be cloned. I was a pretty strong kickboxer, but I had to lose my leg, and I'm gonna allow my human meat to be eaten by people. Now that person is still alive, no one died for it, and he
What?
Hang on, I'm going somewhere. Would you then be against?
I'm not gonna eat another human, dude.
Would
It's
you be?
cannibalism.
Would you be?
It's a no-no.
Is it? It's just
Of course.
cloned meat, though.
No, it's not
this
just
is a
cloned
topic
meat.
that
You
needs to be
don't
covered.
eat your own species. Well, look into it first.
Where does
See what
that
other
morality
people
come
think.
from? Where do you get that morality?
It's not morality. It creates diseases and all stuff.
Does it?
All kinds of stuff.
I think-
Yeah.
Really? Does it? I
Look it
mean,
up.
I've never heard of that.
Kuru disease.
What's kudu disease?
Yeah, it's some kind of nasty infection of.
Is that
yeah,
is that
and
something
get,
that
get Parkinson brain disease? No, man. Cannibalism. I mean, oh my God. Why?
I'm just saying? If we have the ability to replicate meat,
This reminds me of the story about it happened in Germany where there was like a consensual agreement between two people that one would the consensual agreement was okay, you can kill me and eat me, and the other guy was okay, well, let's agree to that, and then they signed a form, and one person was okay to be eaten by the other person, but they ate the persons who would die. They ate his penis together. Oh my God.
I mean, that does seem like that would be the most delicious part of it.
Everything that this is my theory about the universe. Everything that can happen will happen, or probably already has happened. It's unfortunate, guys. I mean,
So wait, if
hello,
that's
welcome
your
to the
theory,
nice Mark and George the funny Mark and George show here, where we talk about everything.
I
Apparently.
feel a
But-
sound clip coming up.
No. I'm keeping it low today. I'm keeping it on the down low. I don't want to annoy you too much.
No, I'm ready for it. Give me something that would be appropriate after I talked about eating people. Ladies and gentlemen, cannibalism. Finally, we can agree when a sound was appropriate.
Right? I mean, yeah.
I do have a. Do you have another topic? Because I have
No.
kind of a soft, fun topic that doesn't mesh well
Alex
with.
Jones was my my hunk of meat today.
And you ate it very well.
We devoured that one, didn't we?
Let me ask you a question. How do you get out of a bad conversation? Like if you're in a conversation that you don't want to be in, how do you get out of it?
Oh, I bring my soundboard everywhere. I just always
Oh
saves
my
me.
God. Oh, that reminds me. There was a
How
skit
do I
on,
get a?
I think it was Mad TV or one of those TV shows. It might have been Chappelle's show where they're having a conversation and he wants to get out of it. And he does what they do in the Oscars when an actress is going on too long. They start slowly ramping up the music, and it's like their clue that you're done. You're done. And he had one of them, like a mobile one, and it was hilarious.
Oh, right.
That's what I'm imagining you do with your soundboard.
Yeah, sure. It starts like this, and then. Hey guys, I'm hearing the end tune. I think it's time that we stop this segment and start talking about something new because we're hitting the top of the hour.
Kind of sucks because I just started this
do.
segment and now I feel like
no.
I'm joking.
I'm not talking to you. This is
Yeah, the type of this segment is called "Getting Out of a Bad Conversation." It's just something funny that happened to me. I was at the gym the other day, and I sat down. It was during the time of when we were trying to get the new Supreme Court guy, and I forget his name now. You remember the guy? Was that guy?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, yeah. So I sat down after my work. Brett Kavanaugh. I sat down after my work. I remember that was very contentious, right? And these two old guys were sitting there, and they're talking. They're like, well, whatever thing he was saying, blah 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 blah. It was going to get political, and the guy across from him goes, he had his phone. He's like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta go. And then he didn't go anywhere. He just didn't go anywhere? He just said, I got to go.
Oh.
And the conversation ended, and the guy started talking to the guy next to him, and I was like, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
I
he didn't go anywhere. He just said, I got to go. And he left mentally. And I thought, damn, that's the way we got to do this thing. Don't debate if you don't want to debate. Just say you got to go.
Yeah, if I don't want to debate, I have this thing where for example, but Brett Kavanaugh, and then I don't follow it up. And the other person goes like, what?
Cool story, bro. That.
Well, no, if you do that, you offend someone. But if you just say, well, about Brett Kavanaugh.
I think what a lot of people do is they say,
your brain
I don't really follow the
news.
I don't really follow the news. I'm not informed on that topic. I think as a go away. I'm just gonna start saying, I gotta go.
But I mean that answer is you make the other person feel like he's, what's the expression? Standing there with his cock in his hand.
What? What?
Half. What? With his dick
cathartic.
in his hand.
I think it's what you're looking for. Cathartic.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking for earlier.
Cathartic.
Yeah. Very cathartic talking to you, Mark.
Thanks. I have no idea. I'll look that up after the show. I'm very Dutch, ladies and gentlemen. So sometimes George uses a word that I really don't understand, and I have to look it up after the show. But that's what happens if you do not, if you are not a native speaker. That's right.
Like I said before, I really not really love your Dutch accent when you do it. It's totally great, not great. I have a question for you. What do you do to relax?
Hey, another question. What do I do to relax?
I'm just curious.
I don't know. I haven't relaxed
when
in
you're feeling
years.
stressed out, where do you go? Like, what do you do?
I don't know. Last time I smoked a cigarette.
You smoke?
No, I don't. But last time I was very stressed out. I went to the gas station and I bought a pack and I smoked a cigarette. Yeah.
I don't recommend lighting up at the gas station, Mark. You realize the danger you're in. So you're saying you're suicidal.
I mean, for me, it's just all or nothing,
It's like, well, I'm at the gas station. Oh, man, I'm stressed out. I'll just light this up right here.
I'll light this up and see where this takes us. No, I guess that means that I don't really have a good way to. But I also, get really stressed. Doesn't happen a lot. When it does, well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, how do you depress at night? Like, before you're ready to go sleep.
I lie down, meditate, just close my eyes.
How about in the morning?
Hash things out in my head. Mornings, I am not a morning person. I really need time to start up. I need caffeine, so cup of tea, cup of coffee, something like that, and I need about an hour, 1.5 hours to for my brain to boot up properly. If something bad happens within that hour that I'm still booting up, chances are high that my whole day will get bad unless I forcefully change the mood, which is very easy if you have a 3-year-old who's always happy and enthusiastic. So he's a great way for me. Yeah, he's a great way for me to become happy because I just look into his eyes and I think, hey, this is my boy. my reason for living right now.
He is adorable.
So that really works. But yeah. How about you?
Me? Oh, me. Well, I think I basically hit the couch and turned YouTube on. I kind of have a pattern where I'll go downstairs and I'll get some chili soup, throw in some jalapenos in there, even when I'm not hungry, and munch out on that while I'm watching PewDiePie most of the time.
PewDiePie is a great way to decompress. That's true. Yeah.
All right, this leads me to what are your top 3 YouTubers that you like to watch?
Okay, I like to watch PewDiePie. That's for sure.
Okay, we agree on that one.
Sorry?
No, we agree on that one. He's amazing.
Yeah. I like to watch the Bill Whittle channel, which is a right wing, but not too right. And it's usually conversations, like 20-minute conversations between 2 or 3 people, where usually one plays devil's advocate and they hash out very intelligent topics. Mostly current affairs and stuff like that. And my number 3 YouTuber, I don't know if I really. Well, I guess it's the Japanese from Zero channel.
Oh,
it's
come
also
on, no,
a great way.
I wasn't lining that up. I wasn't lining that.
No, you weren't. I know that you weren't. But
I almost tried to say you can't choose anything that I make because that's just unfair.
Well, it's the way for me to decompress is to stop focusing on what is happening. On the autopilot. Like sometimes you're on autopilot and you start worrying about stuff. Like, for example, open up Dutch Twitter and it's always negative conversations between people about something or other, or it's
the Denk
a
party.
political. I'm not really annoyed by Denk. I mean, I don't really know a lot about their views. I am really annoyed by the Green parties. Like, for example, over here, there's a discussion about, I guess the proper translation is completed life, voltooid leven, completed life. It means you have reached some age where you can say, well, I had a nice life. Now I want to die.
To what end?
And
for death.
Yeah.
And what is there end of life? Is that a right in Netherlands?
Well, that's this political party, D66, Democracy 66, because it was founded in 1966. Is a proponent of that. Yeah, old people should be allowed to say, well, hey, it's been nice, guys, but I need to get out here.
I agree.
This is my stop.
I'm a proponent of that. Lady Blah Blah in chat says Isaac Arthur is a nice channel. I just started watching Isaac Arthur.
Oh, never heard of it.
He's the one that talks about really deep issues like the Fermi paradox. I've only listened to maybe 2 or 3 of his videos, but I really... Lady Blah Blah, is he the one that he kind of talks like this a little bit? He doesn't have like a normal speaking voice. He's like a little bit like this. But what he's saying is really amazing. Is that the guy? Well, I'll wait for a comment in a second. But what's your favorite BitChute channel, though? That's what I'm asking.
I don't have one.
I know, right? Hey, no one has a favorite Yumi. What's your favorite Vimeoer or BitChooter? Like, it doesn't exist. I think Twitch is the only one that really has a chance, right? In terms of...
Hey, are we going to do streams on Twitch?
That's a good question. I mean, you could simulcast to Twitch and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
I kind of had a bad experience with Twitch the first time, and it made me really turn me off to the platform.
Made you twitch.
I twitched away.
You twitch.
Yeah, I twitched. Wow, I feel like there should be a sound effect for that. I twitched off of Twitch.
Nope, that's not the one. Okay.
Just play the I binged it, then I banged it one.
And I twitched.
Ah,
The bing it.
I binged it. That's it. I binged it, then I banged it.
Hey, nice of you to bring in the chat. Anything else from the chat from our?
I've been
YouTube
watching it.
chat?
It's been really bad.
It's been bad.
Everyone's been horrible.
Oh well.
No, I'm just joking.
Horrible.
The problem is when we were on another topic, they were still talking about good people, bad people, and it wasn't timely. So
No, that's not bad. That's awesome. People keep talking
No,
about
it's
what we're
good.
talking
It's good that they're talking, but it wasn't. I think some people came into the stream late, and then that led the discussion on good versus bad kept going on, and because we have such a small group of people watching, there's only 21 people. It's hard for that once a conversation is going on in one direction. I think it's hard to switch it unless you have a lot of people. So,
Well, I'm happy that these people are on board. I know you are too. So, and I'm happy that the topic keeps being talked about. It's a very interesting topic.
well,
That's for sure. Maybe we should
speaking
do
of
another
interesting
show on
topics,
it.
SciTech387 says, "Hey, have you guys seen the YouTube channel Naomi Sexy Cyborg Woo?" I have not, but the fact that her name has Chinese and Japanese names in it leads me to believe.
I think she's a Chinese
Is she real?
girl. Yeah, I think so.
She's not like.
She looks really nice.
All right, let me click this and let me.
Welcome to my channel. I'm Naomi Wu, a tech and DIY enthusiast from Shenzhen, China.
Oh my
and
God.
this is what I do.
Dude, I do need to bing it and then bang it. Holy moly. She's wearing this shirt that's half cut off and showing the underbreast, and it is fantastic. It is fantastic. I just want to say. And her shirt, this is going to get you excited, Mark. It says open source on it.
Hey, it's the nerd. It's Mark the Nerd. You will like that one.
Oh my God! I just noticed
yeah,
her
no.
shorts. Oh my God! Can you cut these shorts
I think
any shorter? I'm
it
gonna
would
send.
be a belt probably.
I'm gonna go ahead. It looks like a belt. It literally does not look like shorts. I'm gonna send this link to you, Mark, later on, so you can bing it and then bang it. But I just sent it also into the chat. It's wow. She's I need to probably need to go to the other room for a little compliment up there. I just had an idea. I should bing it, then bang it. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm getting ready to subscribe right now.
There you go.
Subscribed and
George just found a reason to pick up his Chinese lessons.
Oh no. I subscribed on the Mark and George show, and it says your subscriptions will be publicly shared on your channel. Okay.
Welcome to my channel.
no.
I'm Naomi Wu, a tech and DIY enthusiast from Shenzhen, China.
And I love how she's ignoring the fact that she's literally half naked. And she just
Yeah. I'm very happy about there being pretty people who don't focus on them being pretty. It makes being pretty an extra thing. Like you've got something to talk about. But hey, it's very nice.
actually someone in the chat was wondering if you had time traveled, Mark, and perhaps something you had done in the past had made your parents disappear, because you, when your hand is up, are invisible. You're losing your hand. And I wonder, they're wondering if maybe...
well, it's true. No, sometimes I get slightly out of phase.
Yeah, show your hand. It's weird. Those of you that are... What? No, it's there now. Interesting. Flip your hand around. Flip your hand around.
Wait, it's there's a little bit
There
of
it is.
delay.
There it is.
There it is. Yep.
You are going out of phase.
Yep.
Just be careful back in 1952, man. I need to really be careful.
It's either that I'm getting out of phase or it's kudu disease. I think it's because I'm
What is
getting
this
out of
kudu
phase.
disease? I don't know what this is. Define this for me. Mark, what is kudu disease?
Okay. Well, let's...
You go ahead and tell me what that is. I'll be right back.
And this is what I do.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Were you looking that up for me?
She can sing too.
I don't know. Is that her?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, her hair is so
As a
long.
statement.
Guys.
Kuru is a very rare, this is from the Book of Knowledge, Wikipedia. Kuru is a very rare, incurable, and invariably fatal neurodegenerative disorder that was formerly common among the 4 people of Papua New Guinea. Kuru is caused by the transmission of abnormally folded proteins, which leads to symptoms such as tremors, loss of coordination, and neurodegeneration. It comes from the Fore word kuria, or guria, which means to shake due to body tremors that are a classic symptom of the disease. And kuru itself means trembling. It is also known as, before I explain to you where I found this, it is also known as the laughing sickness due to pathologic bursts of laughter, which are a symptom of the disease.
This happens to me. Now I'm a little bit worried.
Well, it happens to someone else as well. Let me look it up for you, because this is somebody you might probably know.
Getting tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
Hillary Clinton.
Here we go.
Wow.
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
Wait, is that a real interview?
That, quote, the American people.
Oh, this was in Congress even.
Emails. But there are a lot of people who are not.
Well,
Including FBI officials looking into whether national security was compromised because of this server.
Oh, well, it goes on and on.
I demand Congress investigate.
It's so scary, man. I mean, there are even, this is how I first read about this, because of a post where somebody said, well, Hillary Clinton probably has kuru. She doesn't only have like the laughing sickness, but she also has strange spots on her tongue in some pictures that only form due to the eating of human flesh.
Now, this, if you're wondering what's going to lead us to getting kicked off all the platforms, this is where it starts.
Oh my God, I'm also having kuru.
We are unpersoned in 3, 2, 1. The minute.
Oops.
Minute. Are you binging and banging it to Hillary Clinton having Cruz disease?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my
We
God.
might. We
that
might
was
be-
that laughing was disturbing.
Sorry, yeah?
That laughing was very disturbing. Do you have more
Hillary
of that
Clinton,
laughing?
man. Oh yeah.
Do you want me to just do Hillary laughing on YouTube and see what comes up?
Well, you could do something else because this one
Hey,
was
Secretary
already
Clinton,
mine.
will you release a transcript of your paid speeches to Goldman Sachs? No, there's a lot of...
Every time somebody asks her something that only, even for the smallest part implicates her in anything, she just started. That's what she does. I mean, really, the United States, you dodged a bullet with this one. Oh my Lord. Yeah, that hysterical laughing that she
I said
did
earlier that if you didn't watch today's hearing all day long, or if you just dipped in and out, I wanted to give you a representative taste of what it was like. But I have to tell you, this was a non-representative moment, if only because it ended in a really loud laugh. This is an exchange between Secretary Clinton tonight and Republican Congresswoman Martha Roby of Alabama.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on questions about the night of the attack and decisions made then. You wrote in your book, Hard Choices, that you were directing the State Department response the night of September 11th, 2012, but you also stated that you left your office on the night of the attacks and went to your home in Northwest Washington because you said
This is
you knew
the
the next
Benghazi
few days were
hearing.
going to be taxing and the department was going to be looking to you. Who else was at your home? Were you alone
I was alone, yes.
the whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
I'm sorry, a little note of levity at 7:15.
Well, I mean,
The whole night? Look, we came, we saw, he died. We came, we saw, he died. Look, we came, we saw, he died.
Who made this one? That's great. Who made that? That's amazing.
This is remind me to put this in the show notes. Hillary Clinton is evil remix.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man. Oh Lord,
That needs to be the beginning of the next show or something like that. That's
I'm afraid to laugh now.
Yeah, because you could. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen in 10 years. They'll bring back this one clip of you saying this one conspiracy, and you get deplatformed.
Yeah, who knows, man.
Nice. Well, Mark, we're at the 1 minute and 39 mark.
President.
Just letting you know where we stand on time here.
Okay.
So, whenever you feel that the show is over, I feel like we could consider ending it.
I would like to invite our listeners to pop into our Discord, which can be found at www.markandgeorgeshow.com/Discord. You can also contact us on the No Agenda chat. And please send us a message. You can even email us, markandgeorgeshow.com or george@markandgeorgeshow.com. You can also find us on Twitter. Our Twitter account is MarkGeorgeShow because it didn't allow me to make it even longer. You might find us on YouTube if you're currently listening to the No Agenda stream. You can find us on BitChute. Just search for Mark and George Show. Let's see, where else are we? We are on PeerTube on lostpod.space for those of you who are interested in the Fediverse. And also on the Fediverse, our Mastodon account exists on the Mark and George Show at noagendasocial.com.
Fediverse? What are you saying?
The Fediverse.
What is that?
This is the name for the federated universe, which means that not one single server is managing this system. It's a system of it's called PubSub. Basically, it's the protocol. PeerTube uses it. Mastodon uses it. Forks of Mastodon exist, like Pleroma. It's a different kind of Twitter where people manage their own servers, or where people have servers where they also invite other people to join. Like, for example, the noagendasocial.com Mastodon server is a server where people can, after asking for an invite link on, for example, our IRC chat, people can join that server, but they can also talk with people on the other connected servers. So, for example, there might be someone who is on Mastodon.
Kind of sounds like Discord.
Well, Discord is still a one company operated centralized system.
So we could still get deplatformed. And what you're saying is that because this
and it even happens.
This Fediverse is decentralized, therefore it's much harder or impossible to be removed.
It is very possible. Every admin of a server can decide to mute other servers, ban other servers, which happens.
But there can't be a deplatforming. It could be a between servers only.
Yeah, well, a user can still be kicked off by the local admin, of course, and that.
But again, not deplatformed.
Not totally deplatform. You can even, that user can choose to create his own server and upload his own.
I like that. I think you should have the ability to personally ban someone. Obviously.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, I don't want anyone on my network to do stuff that's illegal. So I would ban them if they would use my server. But they are still free to create their own server, and I can still block their server if I want. But they still have their own platform. Unless, of course, an internet service provider says, well, hey, I don't want you on our systems anymore. And this is something that happened with Gab, the Twitter, open Twitter alternative that was immediately embraced, especially by the right.
They got knocked out by the provider?
Yeah, they used to be hosted on Microsoft Azure, which is a hosting platform. And Microsoft said, well, hey, if you don't remove this, I think it was like blatant anti-Semitism or something, then we don't want you on our network any longer. So yeah, that happened.
Slippery slope.
Alex Jones, I think, also had providers kick him off. I mean, yeah, I keep coming back to him, but that's because his deplatforming was just the widest kind of platform. And I'm not advocating anyone use Gab, by the way. I tried it. I really, really didn't like it because, I mean, if there is a conspiracy central, well, that is it. And if there is just, like really, really harsh, blatant hatred, then that's the platform. I found, in my opinion, that was just, it was a...
that's what I found on, I think it was called goat.co. I think it was where it was, or goat.cc or one of those. Vote. V-O-A-T.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah, that was like an alternative to Reddit, but man, is it a bunch of crap when you go up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also, every time I saw Vote, it was associated with stuff like Pizzagate.
It's hate. It's a lot of hate stuff.
Yeah, it was just it feels like you are stepping into paranoid schizophrenia kind of network. It didn't resonate with me. Can I just say it like that? It seems nice.
Yeah, me too.
It didn't resonate with me. So, but still, even though it did not resonate with me,
Can you give me 1 second? I apologize. There's some weird noise happening here, and I don't know what it is.
Is it the
I don't know. So noise I've never heard in my house. I'm gonna go check. I'll be right back.
Excellent. Okay. Well, yeah. Of course, there's just one thing to do when this happens, and that is to play some tunes. Oh, I had another one, by the way. Let's see. Let me search for it.
Look, we came. We saw, he died. We came.
Seriously, if I held a contest,
I'm just playing some music here for.
If I held a contest to see who could figure out what that sound was, there's no way anyone on Earth would be able to figure it out.
Can you describe it?
It goes like this. It's just like.
Ooh.
You wouldn't figure it out. Hey.
Well, now that we are,
all right. Who in the chat think? I mean, I want to end before the 2 hour mark just because of the whole YouTube limitation.
Yeah, of course.
But
we still have 15 minutes.
Who thinks they know what that sound is? Just those of you in chat, it goes like this. Coming from my daughter's room, who's at college.
From your daughter's room?
From
and is she there?
She's at college. She's not even there.
Ooh.
Now, that's, let's see. A frosting machine? A fax? No, not a fax. A cat? Nope. Not a dragon. Getting further away with the dragon. I'll do it again. I mean, I really thought it was like static from an old TV or something. A 1990 CRT left on. No. Mark, what do you think it is? I must admit, when he said Lordy, it sounded so bad.
That would be really bad. Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous, but I sat there that morning and I could not see a door labeled "No Action Here." There's no Anthony Weiner statue, but there's already this.
Well, maybe we need one.
Lordy. Senator, if I said that I misspoke, she forwarded hundreds and thousands of emails, some of which contain classified information. I'm made of stone. Zombie armies. I love this work. I love this job.
You're fired. You know what? You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Lordy, that would be really bad.
You know what? You're fired. You're fired.
All right, I think I've had enough.
You're fired.
Lordy, that would be really bad.
I think I get the point.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Someone thinks
it's a nice song, though.
Printer, bad radio signal. No. Should I just tell everyone what it is?
It was you had a gas leak, and you don't care, so you're just
Was not a
gonna
gas
keep
leak.
the show on going.
You know what it was?
Well, what was it?
It was. Oh wait, hang on. I gotta write that down. Hang on. I'll let you know later off the air what I'm doing when I've been keeping some notes here.
Stay tuned, people.
It was a fish tank water purifier, and there wasn't enough water in the fish tank, so it starts gasping with air. So it's like it's trying to suck in the water, but there's air.
Like, oh my God! So that's just so terrible for the fishes.
Wait a minute, I gotta play it.
Sorry, I cannot help myself here.
I'm not fast enough with this.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
It reminds me of another one. Let me find it here. It was where is it? I mean, George Bush, man, he was just the gift that kept on giving.
No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead. Quiet. Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Oh, this was that CNN guy.
We should totally cut that up and just use it like, don't be rude. I was asking a question. Don't be rude.
Shysters show up and take advantage of people's goodwill and generosity.
Shysters. So, okay, well, this has certainly been fun today, George.
Really has been.
Do you think so?
It goes down as one of the top 7 shows we've ever done.
Yeah, I might agree.
Definitely in the top 10 so far.
But everything good comes to an end. Including our show. I'm so happy that I already gave everyone all of our ways to connect with us. I really hope people will do it. Also, please tell others about the show if you think they might enjoy it, or if you think that they might hate us. Because that would still allow us to get into nice conversations, which is something that I would really enjoy. My name's Mark van Dijk. It's been a blast. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, George.